welcome to my channel. Today I'll show you a live project on DevOps using various tools. I'll show you how you can do microservices, your applications using Docker and deploy into productions using Kubernetes orchestration. So this is the application. You can see it here. This is the login page, and if you just click on this login page and just try to log in with username and password, okay, so it will log you through the page, right? So if you give a wrong user ID and password, so it will not allow you to log in. So how it works, right? So this, when you pass this username and password, it will connect to the database in the backend. It will validate the username, password. If this is there in the database, then it will allow you to the login to the main page of the application. If you're a new user, then you can register by clicking this link. Okay, if you click this link, you have to register yourself. Like suppose I gave Kumar, just fill this form. Okay, give the username and the password. So once you submit, it will say, see, it says like registration is successful, please log in here. Just click it here. Now go to the login page, give your username and the password. So once you log in, you'll go to the main page of the application. So this application is built in, this is actually a web application built in Java, and the database used here is MySQL. Okay, so the Java version being used is 1.8, Apache Tomcat Server 7, and MySQL database is 5.7. okay, so there are also various tools being used in this project. I'll show you what are those tools, right? So the tools I have used is here: Git for the local repository, the developer to store in the repository the codes in the repository, and GitHub is a remote repository. Jenkins act as a build server. Okay, then Docker to containerize the application, and then dockerhub, it's a registry to store the binary files, that is image files, and then Kubernetes is to orchestrate our application, the containers. Okay, so this is the complete workflow. First, developer has to write and develop the project. Once the developer has finished his code, and it has to push the code to the remote repository. Once you finish the code, it has to commit the code to the local repository. After that, the developer has to push the code to the GitHub remote repository. Once the code is pushed to the GitHub remote repository, one event will be triggered automatically to the Jenkins. So here we are using webhook to trigger the event. I'll show you in the project how I have done the setups. Okay, so then Jenkins build the project whatever is being pushed by the developer. So it will pull the code from GitHub, build complete entire project. Okay, entire project it will build, and the final product, like the binary files will be pushed to the Docker hub. So here the binary file is the image file, like, because here we have created few Docker files which will create the image file, and that image file after build it will be pushed to the Docker hub registry. From Docker hub, okay, you can see being Kubernetes. So what happens here, from Docker hub, the Kubernetes being used to orchestrate your applications, your containers, and deploy into the staging or production environment. Okay, your development or staging or whatever you are doing, it will be deployed here. So this entire process is known as continuous integration, and this process is known as continuous deployment. So now we know what is the flow, how it looks like. Now let's start to the project, how I have built the entire project. Okay, let's go. Let me log out this. I'll show you how it's being built. Okay, let me start go through you from the development, how the developer has built the code, and after the developer has finished the code, and how the developer is pushing that code to the GitHub. Okay, I am going to use Visual Studio Code tool to write the code. Here is the Visual Studio Code, and I have the project workspace created here. This is what you can see, my left hand side panel. Here it is, the Java project is been written here, right? And for that I have written for JSP, in the JSP few files are there, and then I have created two Docker files, one for MySQL database and another one is for Tomcat web server. If you just see this, how it looks like, the Docker file is just a very simple one. It's a very simple small project. I'm going to demonstrate to you to show you how it the flow works. Okay, and the other one is the Tomcat. Here I'm going to use the Tomcat image. Okay, now let's start the project. Okay, suppose what I'm going to do here, I'm just changing the code, and I'll show you how you, after the changing the code, how you commit the code using the git repository, the git commands in the git repository, local repository, and from there how you push to the remote GitHub repository. Okay, so here I am just changing small thing here. The version, it's the DevOps workflow, the version is 1.5. let me change it to 1.6, right? Then I'm just saving this project. This is the small changes I am going to show you, but in real project it will be a big change. The developer, there will be multiple modules, and the project will be hundreds of project files, modules, lots of changes, and the thousands lines of code will be there. Okay, so there will be multiple developers who will be working, and they'll be continuously developing and continuously pushing the code to the GitHub. Here I'm just using the small project to show you how the flow and how the developer works and push the code to the GitHub remote repository. Okay, so let's start. So I just did some changes to the code. After I do change, I just save the code, and then what I have to do using Git, I have to first locally commit the code and then push it to the GitHub. Okay, so here in my the local Git repository, this is the path where I have kept the local repository, right? And you can see the code here again. This is the code written. If you use the Git status, it will show you what are the files being currently modified. This is the file what is modified. Now I'm going to commit this code first to the local, right? Git add current, only one modification, so I'm not going to give the specific any file, just one file is there, so I'm just adding into the staging area. After that I can commit it, right? Git commit -m some messages, like I can give like added new version, right? Then enter. You can see here new, add a new version, and one file is changed. After you commit, this is locally committed. Now you can push this code to the GitHub repository, right? So for that, what you have to use, git push origin, then master. Once you hit enter, okay, now the code is now pushed to the GitHub repository, right? So once the code is pushed to the GitHub repository, you can log into the GitHub repository, and you can also see, or what you can do, because what I have told initially, like once the code is pushed, one webhook trigger will be happened, right? I have set up the webhook trigger in the GitHub page itself, right? So let me show you. Just go to the press and my repository here. Okay, it's a little slow. Code is pushed. You can see it here. This is the project. Okay, you can see the code is being written and posted here. Go to the C and see whether the updates is happened really or not, right? This is the page what we had updated, and you can see here the version 6 is updated, right? Now what we can do, we have to set up our Jenkins job. So you know Jenkins is a build and integration tool in DevOps, so that being used for continuous integration, right? So for that, actually I have a Jenkins installed on my cloud machines. I'm going to show you how it looks like. So this is the Jenkins space. I hope you have some ideas about Jenkins and you have installed this tool in your machine. Okay, so let me just log in for okay. So now I'm landed into the Jenkins home page. So here I'm going to show you how to set up the project. Okay, for that I'm going to show you a freestyle project and freestyle job to create, right? I have created a job here, like see, this is a freestyle project, and the project name is login web app docker kubernetes project, right? So let me show you how the project job setup is done in the Jenkins. And this, you can see here there are various tabs in Jenkins tool, right? In the general tools, you can see I'm just given the description about the project and nothing here I'm going to choose. Now I have to go in general, nothing is I have to select here. Go to the source code management. Source code management in the sense what repository or what source code management tool you are going to use, right? Here I'm using Git tool, right? For that you have to mention, what you have to mention, the repository URL of the project, where this repository is the GitHub repository, the remote repository URL, you have to mention it. So how you'll get this URL? Just log in to your GitHub account and go to the respective project in the repository, and you can see here one button, clone or download, right? Just click it here. You can see one link, right? Just copy this link, just click this button, it will be copied. Okay, now go to your Jenkins page. Okay, what you can do, just paste it here, right? I just pasted it here. For that, actually this is a private repository I have created as a private repository. For that I need credentials to log in this account and download the project, right? If you are using a public repository, no need of mentioning this credential. Jenkins will automatically download that project and build it. Okay, so hope you know how to set up the credentials and all. I'm not just going, and the branch I have specified, like the master branch I'm going to build. Which branch you are going to build? Branches to build, right? Then what you have to do, this is source code management. Then I have to go to the build triggers tab. There, here there are, you can see various options are there. You can use poll, SCM, GitHub trigger, generic webhook trigger, build periodicals, lots of options are there, but I'm going to choose GitHub hook trigger for git SCM polling, right? You have to select this one. I'll show you how to set up that in GitHub account, right? After that, what I have to do, just build environment is done, right? So build environment, nothing has to be added here. Now build, this is what our main part, what needs to be built. So I am using Maven tool I am not mentioned in my project, so I'm using Maven tool to build the Java projects. Okay, so this Maven tool is mostly being used to build your Java project. For that set of the goals, you have to give the commands, what commands you are going to execute. I've given as clean package. Okay, and this local Maven, I hope we know how to set up the Mavens. If you are familiar with your Jenkins tool setup, okay, then you have to select the here whatever here you can see the two options, right? Invoke top level Maven targets and execute cell. You can select it here, and based on that you can choose your build option, what you want to see. You can see here like invoke top level Maven targets and execute cell and the Gradle script or whatever you want. You can select it here, and based on that you can work. So what options I have used here? I have used two options. One is invoke top level Maven targets and the other one is execute cell. Right, once the build is happened, the next step is to build the Docker file. So I hope you have aware about the usage of the Docker tool, how you can use, how can build the Docker file and create your own image. Okay, so this is what the Docker file I have created two Docker files I show you in the project, right? So these are the two Docker files, Docker MySQL and Docker file MySQL and Docker file Tomcat. So this is the command. You can see docker build -t and this is the registry name, and this is the that's it, and this is the file, right? And build, you can see here I have used one variable called as build underscore id. This is the Jenkins environment variable. It will give you the build id of this particular build. When the build will be triggered, it will give you one id. It is called as build number or build id. So it will give a tag to the image. This is the image name and this is a tag, and this you have to specify the which Docker file you are going to execute. So two Docker files going to build. After that, once the image is created out of this build, then I'm going to push this to my Docker hub registry. Okay, so let's start it. After that, what you have to do, so there is no post build section I have added. Just save this project. Okay, so once this project is saved, you can go to the dashboard. You can go here. Either you can click this build now to build the project, okay, or you can wait the webhook trigger the project. When the developer push the code, it will be automatically webhook. So let me show you how it will be automatically work. Now we have created our Jenkins project and the job is ready. Okay, now let me do some small changes again to our code, then I'll show you how the automatic trigger of Jenkins job happens, right? Now let me change this something happy learning, and okay, let me change something here like version 7. Okay, now I just save this one. Again, I have what I have to do, just go to the project folder where your project is there, git status. You can see there is a modification happened to this. Then git add git commit to the local repository, version changed. You can give appropriate commit message as per your project requirement. Okay, so wait, now the commit is done. Now I have to push it to the push to the GitHub repository, right? Now git push, right, origin, then master, enter. See, it has been now pushed. Immediately if you go and check, if you see here automatic build trigger happens, right? You can see here automatic, the build number is 11, right? Now let the build finish. I'll show you how it looks like. Here the build is now success. Just click this build number is 11, click this build. I can see success. Go to the console output to see the logs, how it looks like. See, go through the logs. Alright, success, right? That means our project, our job is completely built, means successfully built, right? Now once what was our goal? Our build option was to, once the build is success, then it pushed the image files to the dockerhub registry, right? Now check the dockerhub. This is my dockerhub registry, and you can, if you don't have, you can register yourself. It's actually free. You can register yourself and create one own registry, right? Just to refresh it. It's taking some time and it depends on your network speed, right? Hope it will be loaded soon. Yeah, it's now loaded. Now if you click on this, these are the two image file name, right? MySQL and login web app. So if you click it here, and if you can see, updated a minute ago, right? These two images updated and into the registry a minute ago. Just click it, any one of these. Okay, now here you see the tag number 11. This is your build number in Jenkins, and here that build number is mentioned as a tag number here in the registry. So this is what the tag looks like. So here is your, and if you want to see here, just go to this tags, what tag you want to use in your project. Based on that, you can copy the docker pull and tag option, and you can use in your project to download this image and create container of that. Okay, so that's all for this Jenkins setup and continuous integration. In the next video, I'll show you how to orchestrate this container, how to create container out of this image and orchestrate your containers and your projects, your applications, right? Thank you for watching. Hope you understood the project properly. For Docker orchestration, Docker and Kubernetes orchestration, click on the second part of this project. There is another video, part 2. You can just click and just watch how the orchestration using Kubernetes being done, right? Thank you.